views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library.
Good evening, I'm Eric Hackley, and this is HackonomicsTV. I'm back after a 2-year absence from a 30-year run of producing and hosting live call-in talk shows on Fort Wayne, Indiana, public access television. The reason you haven't been seeing me or hearing from me is I was kicked out of studios and kicked off the air. Tonight's episode is a salute to the students of Central High School from 1968. These students came together and had a walkout. I'll be joined on this episode by President Rubin Brown and William Muhammad. And I hope you other students from the 1967 to 69 era will watch this show, and hopefully we can get together and do another show. When you say revolution, what do you mean revolution?
Well, a change from doing things the way we were doing them, that young people had a voice and had a vision, somewhat that the world had to change, in particular that for African Americans. And that activists included textbooks, what we was reading, the music, and all of those types of things were changing, but our education was backwards.
And William, would you add on to that? Why did you have the audacity to think that you all can make a difference?
Well, number one, let's rewind just a tad. I met Brother Rubin Brown in junior high school at Weiser Park. We fast forward to Central High School, 1968. I was a junior. He was a junior. He mentioned education. Only education we really, so far as like history, was his story, meaning George Washington and the cherry tree, Abe Lincoln, Honest Abe, the whole spiel. But long story short, revolution, I didn't find out, or we really didn't find out later on, that revolution actually involved bloodshed. We didn't want to shed no blood unless we necessarily had to. The Black Panthers were influential. Malcolm X, my mainstay, was Minister Malcolm. Battle of the Bullet. Ooh, used to get me warmed up. Used to get me ready for fire, ready for battle. What made me or we think that we could change? We were potentially ready to go to Vietnam to fight, supposing give our lives for the country and whatnot. And I took a page from Brother Muhammad Ali. Ain't no Viet Cong never called me nigga, so I wasn't gonna bust a grape. I wasn't going no place to fight the enemy way across the pond. My enemy was right here in the state of Indiana, in the country of America, the Republic of America. So what drove us was the fact that we really believed that we could make a change, and some of our mentors really helped us out. Nate Norman, Dave Miller, Jackie Patterson, Charles Redd, Tom Brown, just to mention a few. And our elders we had, Sister Walton, Clotilde Walton's mom, Mr. and Mrs. Albert Bruner, just to mention a few of the people. And we had women in our group too, brother. We realized back then, we didn't know it, but we realized that we needed females. I didn't know anything about the male or female connection as I do now. So I've taken a little bit too much time, but I just want to let you know where it comes from my spirit, that I really believe that once the group got together and started formulating ideas, and we got to mentor, and we had mentors back then. We got together and we finally formulated a plan. I won't tip the hand, but it led to a lot of awakening. Like who we were, being proud of being black. I never did like the word Negro. I don't like the word African American now. That's just my personal choice. How can you be an African and American? You'll never be an American. You live in the geographical America, but your origin, your root, is from Mother Africa.
Mr. Brown, if you'd add on to that, and plus tell me who from the 60s, inspired you, who what leaders were firing you up?
Well, 1964 was a pivotal year for me. I worked as part of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee in Biloxi, Mississippi. In fact, the 3 men that was killed, James Chaney, Goodman, Shriver, doing voter registration, and of course Fannie Lou Hamer, her poignant stance that she was going to register to vote in probably one of the most backward states in the nation. And as a result of that, the summer of 1964, I attended the student convention in Meridian, Mississippi, and
Who was the leader back then of that?
of
Was it Carmichael then?
no, Carmichael was not the leader. I can't remember who was at the time, but Stokely Carmichael came shortly after that. He was influential in it, but I don't think he was the leader. But anyway, we were surrounded by those students who came for the Mississippi Freedom Summer, and that was with the blessing of my mother, because she was acting secretary of the NAACP in Biloxi at that time. So that's where my impetus came from.
Okay, so now you all met at Central High School.
So we worked at we met at Wise Park.
Also met at Weiser Park. But when did the idea that you black students had to come together and do something, that you had to take a stand here in Fort Wayne, Indiana? How did that idea start to galvanize, and who was with you as this idea started to come together all the way to the point of having a walkout?
Wow. Well, you know what? I'm having flashbacks now. I'm thinking, coming to a recollection, it was a couple of incidents that had happened in the media. One of them was coming down the pipe was we got wind of the school was going to be closed in a couple of years. We graduated in 1969, and that's when we had our infamous stroll. 2 years later, Central is no more. It's now the Anthers Career Center. But leading up to that, it was some incidents. I'm going to recall what, to the best of my recollection, there was a march concerning opening these new schools, and it was one of the reasons they would not say a reason, but they were going to close Central down, and they were going to open up Northrop and other schools, and they had built Snyder and built a couple other schools. I'm thinking, like, why would you close a perfectly good school down to open up a new one, and why you want to build it way out there where they live? They mean Caucasians. I'm gonna call it just like it is.